Hey, so today I'm going to be talking to you about how I got this. So this is my 4-year temporary Mexican residency card. So I am a temporary resident of Mexico. I could live here as long as I want, well, within 4 years. But, I don't have to do like visa runs or worry about, how many days they issue when I arrive. This allows me to get a bank account. You could rent a place. I can get utilities like power and water and those sort of things. Driver's license. So basically this allows you to do everything except for voting. So obviously I'm not an immigration or residency lawyer, so seek your own. But I'm just going to kind of go over how I was able to get this. And it honestly wasn't too complicated. I'll also talk a little bit about what it costed me. So I was just watching this one YouTube channel when I was still living in Canada, thinking about this because I've, done trips to Mexico for a few months at a time and liked it. So I was considering kind of living here, not necessarily permanently, but on a more longer term basis. So one of the YouTube channels, I believe his name's Jose Ortega. He's in Merida in the Yucatan. That's where I'm living now. And yeah, he just, makes content about life in Mexico, I guess, to summarize it. But he had brought on a lawyer, also called Jose, I forget his last name, and they would just make those residency style videos, Q&A, where you could kind of ask your questions in the chat and the actual lawyer answered. So because I trusted Jose, that's the guy who has the channel, I also trusted the lawyer he brought on, whose name is also Jose. So that's who I reached out to help me with this process. So we kind of emailed a little bit, told them, a little bit about myself, what I wanted to do, pretty basic. And then I had a paid consult with him. This was in September, and I'm just going off the top of my head, so the numbers might be slightly off, but in this ballpark, I believe the initial consultation with him was $120, something like that. It wasn't very much. And then we went, I was just able to kind of ask him my questions or be more specific about my situation. And then he kind of just in that, he explained the whole process, how it works. And then he sent me an email after that with kind of the costs. So basically, again, do your own research, but there's an RNE program. It's like a naturalization program. So because I had a prior visit in my passport in recent years, I was eligible to get this temporary residency, but the only kicker is that I needed to be on an expired tourist visa when I got into Mexico. Meaning most times you come to Mexico, they stamp your passport and they give you 180 days. Not always, but most times. So I had to wait until that 180 days was expired and then go to the immigration office. So that's how it typically worked. Now, I didn't want to wait the 180 days. As you can see, I haven't been here 180 days and I already have this card. So what Jose helped me with was getting a short-term, they call it a FMN or FMM. I can't remember. But basically, it's just a short-term visa. So he was able to get me one for 7 days. And then once that 7 days expired, then I was eligible, and then I went to the immigration office, and bada boom, bada bing. Took a few times because Mexico, the bureaucracy, it just works a little different. One day the printer wasn't working, one day the lady who issued the cards wasn't there. But long story short, a little bit of headache. It wasn't too bad. I got my card relatively easy. No financial requirements, nothing like that. I didn't have to get bank statements and all this stuff. I don't do any language tests. So it was fairly easy. So in terms of costs, I had to, there's travel costs. I had to come to the specific place where the lawyer lived. So that was in Merida, but I was going to Puerto Escondido. So obviously I had to make an extra trip. Because I had to wait for the tourist visa to expire, the short one that he got me, that 7 days, I had to get, Airbnbs in Merida. So that had a cost, right? Where normally I would just go directly to my destination. Okay, sorry guys, I just wanted to pause the video and I went back into my finances because I just wanted to give you like the accurate costs. So here is the full breakdown of costs. So here's what I had to do. So basically I had the initial consult with the lawyer. I'll do Canadian and then US. So that was 140 bucks Canadian. Then I had to put a deposit for his fee. So that was, I put down a 60% deposit. That was $1,100. Then the final payment, once I received the residency, that's when I paid the second half. That was $722. And then as I mentioned, I needed like a short-term FMN or FMM, like that 7-day visa. So that was expired. And then once that was expired, I was eligible. So he helped me get that short-term visa. There's a couple things we have to do. I won't really get into that. But that had a cost of $600. So the total in lawyer fees was $2,562 Canadian, or about $1,793, so $1,800 US. Then I had to pay some immigration fees with like the Mexican consulate or government. So there's a couple payments. So one was $850 Canadian, and then there was two smaller ones, one for $117 and the other one for $149. So the total I paid for immigration fees, again, this is to the Mexican government, not the lawyer, that was $1,116 Canadian, or $780 US. So the total cost for the everything, the immigration fees, the lawyer's fees, for again, the 4-year temporary residency, was $3,678 Canadian, or $2,573 US. So really wasn't that crazy of an investment, considering some countries to get residency, you need to like buy property or prove you make like a large sum of money or prove you have tens of thousands in a bank account. Again, I didn't have to do any of that. Basically, I paid $3,700 Canadian, or $2,573 US. I was able to get that. Now, like I mentioned, I did have some other costs because I had to make a separate trip specifically to where the lawyer was located. It wasn't my final destination. And then just because there were a few delays in the immigration office, I did lose one of my flights. And I did have to stay in Airbnbs a little bit longer. So I probably, with the flights and the Airbnbs, I probably spent an extra like $2,000. So, you know, if you were coming specifically for this reason and you were going to budget all the costs, like the lawyer costs, the immigration processing fees, and then your accommodations and flights, maybe another $2,000. So for about 5,000 Canadian, 4,000 US, again, including absolutely everything the trip, you would be able to get your residency. So if you have any questions about that process, please drop them in the comments, or if you want to know the lawyer that I used, I could definitely relay that information. So hope you guys found that helpful, and we'll see you on another video. Hit the subscribe button too, why not? I got no one yet, so it helps a lot. Okay, thanks.